Hey everybody, I hope you've been enjoying these Django videos so far in my transformation. Earlier today I made a new model and view and populated it with data from the what's known as the learn, PyATS learn, and I did VRFs. And on the Nexus sandbox there's a management and a default VRF which I was able to transform into views, year, month, day, operating system for an NXOS, archived HTML pages. Worked out wonderfully. Did it in just a few minutes. I hope to do another one here with you soon. But let's back up a step. During my Cisco DevNet Associate studies, and sometimes people have trouble connecting the book to actual implementation or real world application or how it really fits. If you go to these pages, page 30 and 31 in particular, and if we take a look at this image here, this controller model view or model controller view or model view controller, this is a pattern, a software design pattern. And view, MVC, model, which we're doing in Django, right? We look at the JSON schema that PyATS is going to provide us for a learn or parsed command. And we turn that into a model, and then we migrate the model into the database. And that is how we feed the data from PyATS in, is through this model into the database. Now the views, well, we have several views by year month, by year month day, and by operating system. We can have all kinds of different views into the model. And then the controller is really how the model and the view interacts with each other. That's that Python engine, the Django itself, the guts of it all, the templating engine and all of that, that pieces them together. So again, real quickly, we have this model view controller design pattern that we're trying to follow here with Django. Right? And the model is the database schema and the interaction between PyATS and the database. The controller is the database, the Python, the PyATS, the templating language, the JSON into the database. And then our views are those HTML templates by year or by operating system, by year, month, day, whatever. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. Now, I have a bunch of functions to convert, and I'm going to show you how to convert one more or less from scratch, how to make that model, how to bring the model into the database as a schema, how to populate the database with data from PyATS, and then how to present that data with views. And let's do a very popular thing, VLANs. Everybody loves VLANs. So let's try to use the learn VLAN library from PyATS. Stay tuned, this is going to be a lot of fun. Okay everybody, with the whole model view controller design pattern in mind, let's build one up from scratch, where our goal is to have several views into a model and the database structure. So let's start with something everybody loves, VLANs. So PyATS can learn VLANs and turn it into JavaScript, which is going to be the foundation of our model. So here is what it looks like. And what you can see is every VLAN on the device has different information. And if it has interfaces, it has an array of interfaces on that VLAN. And then it has further down under configuration whether or not IGMP snooping is enabled, and then down at the bottom there is interface VLAN enabled. And right, so we may not want this information at the bottom, but for each VLAN let's get the configuration as well as this information here. So how do we model this? Well, let's bring it to the side and bring up our models. So what we're going to do is make a class learn VLAN with models.model, and then what we're going to do is map them all. Now, this is important. You have to think maybe a little broader than just what's in the data set. In this model, I would also like to have the host name and the operating system type, so that way I can have a view based on operating system and host name, as well as include possibly this information on the screen in the view. So that's what I've done here. Now, in something like show version, it comes with the operating system and the host name. So, but for something like learn VRF, or as we see here in learn VLAN, that information is not present. So let's take the 3 keys that we definitely want, which is host name, operating system, and let's take timestamp as well. And now let's plug in our other fields. So we're going to want the VLAN for which is a text field. And then here's how I do it. I don't think we need the VLAN ID because it matches, but we want state, shutdown, name, and mode for as well as interfaces. So let's take this and we'll just plunk it in here, and then using VS Code, what we can do is deal with this a little bit. So let me just get rid of those. And then what we can do is, we can take our keyboard and get rid of the quotes in front and bring them in line. And then we can search for this equals Control F, and let's replace that with equals text field. So let's do that. And then what we're going to do is just get rid of that and get rid of this information. So now we have a VLAN, and let's make that interface. Well, we can leave it as interfaces. Mode, okay. Name, okay. Shutdown, okay. State, okay. VLAN ID. And then what we want configuration. So let's grab IGMP snooping and make that a text field as well. I'm not going to worry about these little pieces of information. They're not very valuable to us. Interface VLAN is enabled. Yeah, we assume it's enabled. And VN segment VLAN based enabled false. Let's not worry about that. Okay, so we're done with the this. We're going to come back to this repository for our view, and I'll show you why. But there is our view for learn VLAN. Now, what we need to do is, and I'm going to just copy this, is return it, right, as the function. And then template is going to be, so we have hostname OS, right, VLAN, interfaces, mode, name, and then there's a couple of more here before timestamp. So shutdown, state, VLAN ID, and we need one more. I'm short one. And our IGMP snooping. Okay, so there is our data model, our function that's going to return learn VLAN. So where do we move on? Let's keep the model up on the side. Well, the next place I'm going to move is my URLs, right? We need URLs for the learned VLAN, and we're going to copy the 4 existing paths from learn VRF, paste them in, and then what we're going to do is replace this with learn VLAN, and then over here this learn, right, that should be VLAN, learn VLAN, learn VLAN, learn VLAN. So those are all of our URLs, and we're going to need to make HTML templates for those, but we'll do that after. Let's deal with our views next. Now the views is very important, but again, it's very easy for us to copy because it's just the view. So instead of VRFs, let's copy VRFs and let's put it, you know, at the bottom here. And now what I need to do is say here, let's make that learn VLAN. And let's do it one by one here. So vlist is going to be learn VLAN dot objects, and then we're going to make this VLAN list, and this again becomes learn VLAN, learn VLAN. And I spelled learn wrong here. Learn. Okay, now we need to do the same thing, right? And what we're going to do is, because of the mixed case, let's just quickly do it manually here. And this won't take very long. Bear with me here. We have to make sure all these functions are updated to VLAN. And I could do find and replace, but the mixed case kind of hurts me here, where I have uppercase and lowercase versions of VLAN and VRF to do the find replace. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're enjoying these Django videos. I know I'm enjoying making them and learning this new framework. It really is a whole new way for me to look at and consume, particularly the data modeling. I've always used YAML for data models, but now as Python functions and that feed an SQL database, it really is a whole new powerful way of doing infrastructure as software. So VLAN, 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 VLAN. This all looks good. VLAN list, VLAN list, VLAN list. Okay, all right. So now our views are done and our models are done. What do we do next? And our URLs are done. Well, we need to make the templates. So what we're going to do is just copy learn VRF and rename it learn VLAN, and then we're going to update some stuff in these files. We're going to go sequentially so that way we don't miss anything. And I'll show you a little trick here. Okay, so I need to get the HTML for VLANs. Right, this is VRFs. So what I'm going to do is, right, just leave the skeleton here. And sorry, spider attack. Spider just, I saw a spider in the corner of my eye. So let me do this instead. I'll put a new table in here in a second. But my logic is going to be for each VLAN in VLAN list, and this is right, learn VLAN for the year, month, day, learn VLAN for the year, month, day, and then for each VLAN we're going to have VLAN.hostname and VLAN.timestamp. Now, I'm going to go back to my original Merlin and steal from myself, and I'll show you what I'm going to steal. If I go into my templates under IO or NXOS, platform I'm testing with here, I should have a learn VLAN template, and I do, right? So I have name, state, VLAN, name, state, shut down. So I'm going to add some more, but let's just go ahead and take the table all the way up to the header here, copy that, and bring it in here. And I don't need the style sheet reference, and I don't need the learn header, so let's bring all of this back just to, and this back here. Okay, and then let's put those at line. All right, good, good, good. So device name is the VLAN host name captured at that time. Now we have more fields, and this is where we're going to reference our model again. Right, for learn VLAN, I have, so the host name, I'm already showing it here, and I'm already showing the timestamp. I have the VLAN interfaces, right? So I'm going to add, let's add it after name and state. All right, so we have name and state and shutdown. Why do I have false here? I need to get rid of that. All right, so let's just look for, we have host name, operating system covered, VLANs covered, interfaces, so name, state, shutdown, interfaces. What am I missing here? Got it, got it, got it, got it. Mode, okay. Name I have, and I'm just going to say shutdown instead of interface. State and shutdown name, yeah, VLAN. Okay, VLAN ID I'm not doing. I'm going to actually take it out of the data model as well because I don't need it. It's a replica of VLAN, and then snooping, right? So then table header IGMP snooping. All right, now I have to clean this up because this is not the format. So this should be VLAN.VLAN, and then this is going to be VLAN.name, VLAN.state, VLAN.shutdown, VLAN.interface, VLAN.mode, and then VLAN.IGMP snooping. What was this? It looks like I had some if-else logic in here. For VLAN and parse VLAN, if VLAN interfaces is defined. Okay, I don't need to worry about doing that here. It will just be empty if interfaces is not defined. It's a little bit different. I see what I've done here, and then I did the for each interface. Let me not do it that way. Let me just try it this way for VLAN, and then I don't need this N4. All right, let's try it this simple way and see what happens. I may need some logic to say if interface is defined, because it might not be defined if there's no interfaces, but I believe it will just render as empty. Or I might be able to put, can I put in a default value like this of NA in case it's not defined? Let's do that. All right, so that's this day archive, and now what I'm going to do is copy. Actually, let me just to make this a little prettier, let's do it like that. I'm going to copy from the for VLAN list and replace that for each of these. Oh, I see. This is VLAN. VLAN. And same thing. Same thing a couple times here. And again, these are all the different templates for our different HTML pages. If a user decides to type in, you know, show VRF slash and then the year, or show VRF slash a year, month, day, or operating system. Okay, so those are our templates for Learn VLAN. They're all filled in. So now what's left to do? Well, there's two things left to do. And we're going to need our data model again. So I'm going to leave that open, our data models. I'm going to split it. And this gets a little tricky, but I need the Python now to populate the database. So what I'm going to do is steal a little more code from, actually I don't need to steal the code. Let me take this, learn VRF, and I'm going to refactor this to be learn, or VLAN. So this is VLAN, VLAN, VLAN for VLAN in not sure, is that what I want to do? Let me look at the data model again. Because I need to just double check something real quick. I'm looking at, no, it's learn VLAN. So I have VLANs. Okay, no, everything is under VLANs. Okay, good. That's good. So then learn VLAN in VLANs. And then this is going to be learn VLAN, learn VLAN. Now this is where, let me just finish this real quick. This is where we map in our fields. So the host name is going to be device alias. Operating system, now here we need to change our fields. So let me get rid of everything except for the timestamp, and what we're going to do is we're going to fill in all of these fields, right? So we need to say VLAN equals, and this is going to just be, I need to look at the data model again. I'm still not really confident that that for loop is, I need to see, because there's configuration and, let me just look at the data model. So what we have is VLANs, and then we have our list of VLANs, and then we have configuration at the same level. It's too bad configuration isn't at a different level here, because I'm going to say for each of these VLANs, and that's going to include configuration and these ones. Let me see if this is going to be a problem or not. And then loop into the configuration. I see configuration needs a loop as well. So this is a little, I don't know why configuration is at the same level. That might throw that for loop off here, because VLANs also includes configuration. It's not just the individual VLANs. Well, let's see here. I did it in Merlin, so I'm going to have to be able to make it work here. So VLAN equals, I think this is just VLAN. No, I want the individual iteration. No, see, because VRF is just VRF here. Yeah, no, I was right. That is VLAN. And then I need to say interfaces equals self-learn VLANs interfaces. Right, and then the rest of this is just getting into the JavaScript keys. Mode equals mode. Name equals name. I should be referencing this. I should make sure those are right. Yeah, interfaces, mode, name, and then the next one is shutdown. Shutdown state. All right, they are the same. Yeah, I do that on purpose. Just doesn't hurt to be sure. Where was I at? Name. So shutdown equals, and then shutdown, and then state equals state. And I need to do two loops here. Yeah, that's not deep enough. I need to say for config in VLAN dot, no, VLAN. No, it's right at the same parent. So it just says configuration. So learn VLANs configuration. I think there's another level there, VLANs. No, alright, it's just in configuration. So then I need to say IG, IP, IGMP, oh my goodness, IP, IGMP, snooping equals configuration, config, no, that should just be config, and then that should be IGMP snooping, I think. Okay, let's see if this will populate the database. And actually, I got to tab that in. All right, now, one thing we haven't done yet is actually taken the model, so the thing that's on the screen here, and made it part of the database. So let's do that as our next step. Okay, so there's a couple commands we need to make. First, I need to activate my virtual environment, and then I need to get into my folder here. Now, using the manage pi there, we're going to migrate. So it's manage, make migrations Merlin. And if there's no model is not defined. Where do I have model? Oh, I have models. Dot. Oh, geez, I did this wrong here. Sorry. Yeah, that's not right. You probably spotted that at home and have been saying, John, you got to fix that first. Okay, let me save that and let me just do that again. So make migrations. And I have two dots now somewhere there. And let's do it again. Excuse me. Okay, so this is what we're expecting, is to create a model, and it created the learn VLAN model. It didn't touch my learn VRF or my parse show version models because I didn't change the underlying model. So now that we've made the migrations, we actually have to migrate Merlin. And that's just a migrate Merlin command, and now again it's migrated it into the database. Now I like to just say migrate one last time to make sure. Okay, good. So now let's turn on the server before we put any data in and just make sure that everything looks good. So we run our server, and this is confirming that our modeling looks good, and it's not testing any views yet. Just want to be clear, we're not looking at any views other than admin. We just want to take a look that we have a new table and the structure looks good. Oh, I missed the step. Huh, see, that's why we do this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stop my server. Now, this is an easy mistake to make. I didn't publish learn VRF, and I have made a couple little mistakes here. Okay, so let me copy learn VLAN. And I made a couple little mistakes in the Python. That's not going to run until I add it here. Learn VLAN. And let me make sure in views I've done the same thing. And where was that? Let me put it where I wanted to put it here. I should put it there at the front, alphabetical, the learn and then the show. Okay, and then views, I don't need it there. Models, I don't need to do it there, but I do need to go to the admin panel and register, and let me put these in a different order here. Right, I have to actually register that learn VLAN into the admin panel. So now let's bring up the server. And here we go, refresh. There is now learn VLANs. Now it's not populated yet, that's our next step. So let's try to bring the data in through PyATS. Now I hope this all works out, I don't know. You'll have to bear with me if it doesn't. Let me make sure I have the VPN up. I don't have my VPN up. Let me bring up my VPN real quick. Hey everybody, okay, so after I put up the VPN, when I switched screens there, I noticed when I went to ingest the data, I did a dry run before I turned on the recording. It wasn't quite right. There was some serious significant issues with the original logic. Let's explore it. And it really, what it is, it's the schema of the JSON that we're trying to ingest. That was the issue. But we've normalized it with Python. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So let me call up the original model. And this is important. Now, if you look here, the VLAN numbers are all at the same level as these three keys down here. Now that's problematic. If I were to say for VLAN in VLANs, well, my loop would go 1, 100, 101, 2, 3, 4, 5, configuration. Well, configuration doesn't have interfaces or mode or name. None of the keys that we need are there. So what I need to do is filter out, and that's what I've done in Python, is just that if it's not these three keys, then go ahead and iterate over it. So let's take a look at that real quick and then we'll run the code now that the VPN is up. So here again, I'm saying for VLAN and learn VLANs, just what I just described to you, if it's not config and it's not enabled and it's not VN segment. Now there's one more piece of logic. I've already closed it. Not every VLAN, think about VLAN 1, has interfaces configured, which means that this key right here would not exist at all if there's no interfaces. So we have to handle that. If interfaces, then go ahead and use the key. Else, let's just put null in. Let's just make it a null value. All right, so this I believe is ready to go. Let's try to ingest the data by running, let me make sure the VPN is up. VPN is up and connected. And let me run the, not that one, the Nexus 9K sandbox. Here we go. Docker just yet. Go ahead and download the update. Sorry, I'm in the wrong folder. Merlin. Here we go. Apologies. Okay. Whoops. Oh, yeah. It's a new database. I keep doing this. I apologize. I will remember someday. There we go. All right. Here we go. Let's run and populate the database with the show VLAN command. And we should get yellow text as a little warning. Good. Yep, it's all populated. So that all worked. So now we have VLAN, learned VLANs, learned VRF, parse show version for the NXOS inside of our database. I didn't want to show you my Twitter feed. I want to turn on the server. So let's start the server. Manage Pi run server. And now let's go check out the admin page first. And let's check out our VLANs. And I've been cheating. I've done a couple ahead of time. Now this looks really good. This looks really good. So now, right in VRFs here in sessions. And do I have some from yesterday? What will be interesting is I might be able to test the day function. So let's go to learn VLAN 2021. Hey, look, it's working. It's working. And what it does, it's one big table, it looks like. I see. And then we have the date and timestamps here. We might want to break this into a table per record. I'm not sure. This is kind of nice though. I'm going to leave it like this for now. Now what I want to test is 08. Oh, and we've moved into September. So there is last month's view. What about this month's view? It works. It works. The date functions filter them out. Isn't that incredible? And now I can go to NXOS and have the full Nexus data set. Okay, so that, everybody, is the model control view approach from start to finish with the Learn VLAN PyATS library and functions. The presentation is up to you. I decided to make a table with all of this stuff. We can make it a little human sentence. We can do whatever we want with our view. So what I'm going to do next, and I have no guarantee it's going to work. I was able to do it with operating systems, so I'm pretty hopeful that I can do this. But what I'd like to do is have /show VLAN, or learn VLAN, /hostname. So then not only by operating system, I could start typing in the host name of the device after a command and get the view of the data set that's only for a specific host. That would be really nice, wouldn't it? All right, so stay tuned and stay safe. I'm going to keep tagging on videos to this and get them up into YouTube as soon as I can. I'm open for questions. Twitter, John_CapoBianco.com. AutomateYourNetwork.ca. You can find me on LinkedIn very easily. You can leave a message in the comments below. There's lots of ways you can get a hold of me. All right, stay tuned.